In a shocking turn of events, Luka Doncic is on his way to the Lakers. And I did want to start this first of all by saying Anthony Davis will now be leaving the Lakers, and he was really a tremendous player in LA. Some of the stuff he did, and I've been following this Lakers team for years now at this point. And the reason that this channel was really started was around the time that he joined them, and when they were going on their runs and all the games. And I've been heavily covering this team, and gosh, what I got to say is this is the most shocking trade in sports history. I don't think there's ever been a trade of this magnitude in the history of sports. Like this is the equivalent of the Bills sending Josh Allen to the Vikings for like Justin Jefferson. It's crazy. It From the perspective of the Dallas Mavericks, this move doesn't make any sense. I mean, they just went. Luka might be the best player in the NBA, and they just went to the finals. They have Kyrie there. They traded to get Kyrie there. From a perspective of the Mavericks, this doesn't make any sense, and this leads me to believe that there has to be more to this story. It just doesn't make any sense. I'm shocked. It doesn't make any sense at all from perspective of that way. And now, if you're the Lakers here, they're sitting at like fifth in the West right now. Getting Luka Doncic is a huge play for them. LeBron's never played with a player to the caliber of Luka Doncic. I mean, Dwayne Wade, when he joined the Heat the first year, Dwayne Wade was probably a top 5 player in the NBA, but Luka might be the best. And it's really impressive. It's really going to be interesting to watch how they do it. What I will say is, you're talking LeBron and Luka have very similar games. Both of them are kind of a point forward position. I expect Luka to run the point for a while, and that addresses one of the issues they had. They're still going to have to go out and get a center. You look more and more into it. I don't know the role that Austin Reeves and like Rui Hachimura. I don't know the role that those guys are really going to have within this team when you break down to the usage rate of LeBron, the usage rate of Luka Doncic. It's going to be really interesting, but what I will say is, to reflect on Anthony Davis a little bit more, he really had a tremendous career in Los Angeles, and I really thought he was going to be a Laker for life. I did, like after when they acquired him from New Orleans, I remember how big that was. And they won the title in 2020. In-season champs last year, conference finals appearance 2023. They had a really good stretch. And what I'll say about Anthony Davis, incredible defender. I still think he's the best defender in the NBA. I think he's a top 10 player for sure. But Luka Doncic, wow. And they got Max Kleba, and I know he's hurt right now, but he'll be back around postseason time. This Laker team, if they get the right center, and I think there's another trade to come, they're at a point right now where I could see them before the deadline packaging Reeves and Hachimura in a package to get like a big name center like a Vucevic or possibly somebody else out there. This is the most shocked I've ever been in sports, and I continue to say this is why I really love sports right here. Moments like this where it's so shocking, so out of nowhere that. Like, if you were to tell me that he would ever not play for the Mavericks, I would have been shocked, let alone as early in his career. He's in his prime. It's Luka Doncic in his prime. Perhaps the best player in the NBA that they traded. It doesn't make any sense. But from a Lakers standpoint, given that they get the right set, even if they get a guy from that's not on a roster right now, that's a solid center, this has to be the favorite to win the title at this point. LeBron, Luka, that's like and we should all be considered gifted that we get the opportunity to watch this. And I don't think it plays a factor into it, but you got to think NBA ratings recently have been tanking. This is going to explode. This is going to explode on social media, viewership, everything. Everybody's going to want to watch the Lakers. But like I've been covering this team for a long time. I watch every Lakers game, but this is going to, popularity-wise, it's crazy. LeBron James and Luka Doncic are going to share the court together. Will it work? I don't know. The only reason that I'd hesitate from it working is the usage rate. because both of them are going to want the ball in their hands. There might be controversy over whose team it is. Like Luka's coming in here, he just went to the finals. Like he wants this to be his team. We'll see how LeBron responds to that. LeBron's always been a good teammate, though. He's never really had an issue with any players. But it's so interesting. It's so shocking. Really, a lot of me is at a loss of words, but I have to make this video because it's the most shocking trade in sports history. You can go down in the comments. You can try to name other trades in the history of sports, all four major sports. I don't think that there's anything that really compares to this. It's crazy. And I think the Lakers are really gelling. We're really gelling, too. If you look at it, that win last night against the Knicks in Madison Square Garden, that was a great win that they had last night. And two big wins for them. This is a huge win for the Lakers. Am I upset as somebody that's followed the Lakers to see that AD is not going to wear the purple and gold again? Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a letdown. But this is a massive win for the Lakers, a huge win for the Lakers. If you're the Dallas Mavericks, what are you doing? Sell the team. Are you Luka Doncic in his prime traded for an Anthony Davis that's I believe about to turn 30. He's currently injured right now, has had an injury history in the past. Really, the only year that he consistently played entirely was 2020 and 2024. It's wild. Doesn't make any sense to me why they would do that. I'm sure more information will come out later. But what a big move for the Lakers. But now you're in a situation where this is going to take some time to gel because you are completely. I know you're only losing two players, but this changes a lot about that roster now. And we're really going to see. If you look at it, though, I mean, they had gotten Dorian Finney-Smith earlier, too. So, I mean, there's familiarity in the room. It's just going to be really interesting to see how this goes. But like I said, I my predictions have all become true from what I said. I remember at the beginning of the year, the beginning of the offseason, people were really down on the Lakers because they didn't make any splashes, make any moves. They sat back, they waited patiently, and they were gifted this huge mistake by the Dallas Mavericks. You got to give them their props in that organization. This will probably go down as the biggest steal in NBA history. I mean, it's outrageous. It's truly outrageous, but you got to give them their respect for being able to do that. But like I said at the beginning of the year, people were saying that this team wasn't going to have a shot to contend at all. A lot of people were saying they were going to miss the playoffs. And you look at it, I thought the J.J. Redick hire was good. I was in the minority on that. I thought that was a great hire. I think he's done a really good job. I think he's done a really good job for him. They're sitting at 5th in the West right now. You had Luka Doncic. If they could get up to if they could stay at 5, I mean, I like their chances. You got to look at the West now. You have OKC, but OKC is a pretty young team. I feel like if you're able to reduce the role of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, if you can limit him, then they're very beatable. And you look at like the Rockets aren't doing anything. They've already gotten Memphis's number in the past. And you look around, Denver's serious comp for them because that's why they need the center. And I think that's why they'll go out and get the center so they can have somebody body Jokic. But looking outside of that, they should run through the West at this point. The only question for me is Boston right now. Boston's obviously deeper, but if you really look at Boston, they don't have like a true star. Like I consider Tatum like the 8th best player in the NBA. Maybe I'm low on Tatum, but you look at it player by player at the top, the Lakers are dominating that. So it's really interesting. I'm excited to see it. You know, as the NFL season wraps up, the NBA just really shifts into full gear right now. And this is ridiculous. This is a day and a moment that is going to be remembered in sports history. You know, it's kind of cool to look back at it and really diagnose kind of where you were, what happened, because this is the steal of the century. Lakers get Luka Doncic in a package that includes Anthony Davis in a trade. If you put this in a movie, they would cut it out and they would stop you on your pitch because it just isn't believable. That's how crazy it is, but that's the world of sports, and that's why I love it. That's why it's great. I'm going to continue to follow this Lakers team, and it looks like LeBron is on his path to his fifth title.